Hello, this is Mark Gasson with Grace Truths, and I wanted to bring you another Commute Contemplation this morning. And I want to talk this morning about something that was kind of inspired from the sermon I heard at church on Sunday. And at my church, our main teaching pastor was not there, and one of the associate pastors was bringing the message. He brought a wonderful message about this idea of serving. And as far as serving God and serving others, he's talked about the value and the mindset and the example of service that Jesus gave us. And it was a very, very good message. The Lord spoke to me in several different ways regarding that message. And but there was one thing that stood out to me, and I was thinking about this idea of prayer. And you know, prayer is, if you stop and think about it, prayer is serving, because you are on the behalf of other people reaching out to God, asking him to move or do things in their behalf. So that when you're praying for someone, you're serving someone. But then I started thinking there are extremes when it comes to this thing of prayer and serving and just serving. And I want to real quick talk about those three extreme attitudes that people can have about this idea of service. Now, the first idea would be this: someone who's completely self-focused, and the only person they want to serve is themselves. Now, we know, that's not even an attribute of a Christian. Someone who's just completely self-focused, worrying only about themselves. So we know that's not right. We know that's an extreme that we should not have. Now, the second extreme is tied into this thing of serving through prayer, like I just mentioned. And I believe when you serve through prayer, you can get to the extreme to where all you want to do is pray, but you don't want to do anything else. You're never available to physically able to go out there and help someone. And you get so focused on that you just get to that extreme. And then the final extreme attitude is those who want to do, serve all the time, trying to make a difference, but they never go to the Lord in prayer, asking Him to do what only He can do, and asking Him to move on their behalf, on the behalf of other people. So each one of these leads to its own built-in frustrations and problems. The first one, if you're completely self-focused, you're not going to have a joyous life. You're not going to have a blessed life. You're not going to appreciate the blessings God gives to you, and it's going to lead to misery because you're just worried and concerned about yourself. Secondly, those who only pray, when there's things that they could do that they're not doing, that's frustrating too, because you're like, well, I'm doing all this praying, but they're never lifting a finger to do anything. That could lead to discouragement and to frustration as well. And then the last extreme, if all you're just doing, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to get emotionally and physically and spiritually drained to the point to where you're not going to do anymore. So you've got to have a balance between all three of these things that I'm talking about today. Now, here's the thing about it. First of all, a balance on taking care of yourself. You've got to take care of yourself spiritually before you can help other people. Because if your relationship with the Lord is not what it needs to be, then you're not going to have the spiritual or emotional strength to be able to help others the way that God would have you to. So we need to keep that in mind as well. And take care of it. It's kind of like, when you get on the airplane, when the air mask comes down, they say, always put the air mask on yourself first before trying to help other people. Well, it's the same thing true. You got to get your spiritual oxygen flowing through your system yourself before you can do the same to help other people. And then as far as keeping with prayer, you need to be praying about the things. There are a lot of things that, like the changing of hearts, only God can do that. He's the only one that can change hearts. So we need to make sure that we are praying and asking God to work in the hearts of other people, to change them to be what He'd have them to be. And then lastly, we do need to take some action. We do need to take action. We do need to put some, as I used to say, put some feet to your prayers, so that God can use you as an instrument of His grace to make a difference in somebody else's life. So that's the three extremes. Either you're too self-focused, too prayer-focused, or too busy-focused. But you have to have all three of those in balance if you're going to have a productive life as a Christian, if you're going to be able to serve and help others the way that God would have you to. Just like I heard in my sermon on Sunday, the Lord Jesus gave us the example But we've got to take care of all three of these things in balance if we're going to be able to be what God would have us to be and do the things He'd have us to do. So I hope that's a blessing today. If you'd like to be notified whenever we have new videos, whether it's a commute contemplation like this or some of the Bible study series that we'll be releasing soon, if you want that, you can just look below this video. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, click the bell. If you're watching on Facebook, you can follow us on our Grace Truths Facebook page. And so anyway, I hope that you'll do that, and I hope this has been a blessing. Have a great day and go serve the Lord with gladness today. Have a good one.